Hi, it's Ruth. Welcome back to my channel. It is well. So how are your mornings? Our mornings tend to be either really slow, as in everyone kind of gets up out of bed, some of us at different times, everyone gets started on school and chores, or our mornings are completely chaotic and everybody is scattered in a million different directions. And lately it's felt like mornings are more like the latter rather than the former. So one of my daughters gets up and goes to work a couple of days a week. My husband gets up before all of us and goes to work. We have co-op classes a couple of mornings a week. We have Bible study one morning of the week. One of my daughters babysits at least once a week for a family. And so we're all kind of scattered in different directions. And way too often, I've caught one of my teenagers headed out the door without any breakfast or with just a little granola bar. So I decided this week I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and I'm going to make breakfasts for the family for the week. I'm gonna do 3 different recipes, and they are recipes that I can either stick in the freezer or in the refrigerator, and people can just grab them as they run out the door, and hopefully they have a little more nutrition or a little more filling than a granola bar. So I'm gonna do a baked oatmeal, I'm going to do some overnight oats, and I'm gonna do some breakfast burritos. So if you're interested on having some breakfasts all prepared and in the fridge and the freezer for your week and for your family, then stick around and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I've got all my ingredients laid out for my baked oatmeal, and I'll show them to you in just a minute. But first of all, I wanted to tell you that baked oatmeal has been a favorite of our family and a favorite of the family I grew up in. We used to make big 9x13 pans of baked oatmeal. It was wonderful. It's really a treat. My mom used to do it on Saturdays sometimes, kind of as a treat. But it is loaded with sugar. There was like 1.5 cups of sugar in a 9x13 pan. And I still make it occasionally for a treat. But I discovered this recipe. I got it from an older lady who used to prepare this for VBS workers every year. When we'd come in to handle VBS, we'd have this breakfast spread laid out for us, and she always brought this baked oatmeal, and I thought it was delicious. And I've modified it a bit, changing out the sugar for the honey, and it still tastes really good. And then I'm gonna put it in muffin tins and bake it that way so that I can wrap them up individually. And like my little 7-year-old who isn't a huge breakfast eater, he can just have one little muffin. And then my older kids can grab 2 or 3 if they want. So here are the ingredients laid out for the baked oatmeal. Okay, I am doubling this recipe because I want to make quite a bit, and I will link the original recipe below. I'm going to use 4.5 cups of rolled oats. I'm just using regular quick oats, but you can use old-fashioned rolled oats if you'd like. I have 3 eggs. The original recipe calls for sugar. I'm just using 1 cup of honey, but you could substitute 1 cup to 1.5 cups of sugar or maple syrup. And then I'm using 3/4 cup of olive oil. You can use any type of oil. I always bake with olive oil. And if you don't want oil at all, you can substitute applesauce, and that works really well as well. I'm also going to use 3 teaspoons of baking powder, about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, some vanilla, and then I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And over here, this is 1 cup of Greek yogurt and 1/2 cup of almond milk. And you can also, you just need 1.5 cups of dairy. So you could use regular milk, you could use all almond milk, you could use vanilla flavored yogurt. I like to use 1 cup of Greek yogurt with 1/2 cup of milk or almond milk. And then you put in your family's favorite fruits and or nuts. I'm using 1 cup of bananas because they need to be used, but you could use peaches, strawberries, blueberries, and you could also add things like 1 cup of nuts, your favorite nut, or perhaps something like coconut. I've done that before. But that's it. Those are all the ingredients, and I'm just gonna mix them up in a bowl. There's no order you need to do it in particular. And then you either can grease a 9x13 and bake it in there, or you can do the muffin tins like I'm going to do. Okay, so while the baked oatmeal is in the oven cooking, we're going to make some overnight oats. These are one of my favorite things to make for a quick breakfast. I use steel cut oats. You can use the instant or you can use the regular, or you can use rolled oats or quick oats. Really there's just 3 basic ingredients to making overnight oats. You need your oatmeal, you need some form of dairy, either soy milk, almond milk, regular milk. I'll be using the vanilla flavored almond milk today. And then you'll need some kind of yogurt, and I prefer the Greek yogurt, but you can change it up. So if you're using steel cut oats, I'm using the quick variety, you will need to double your liquid. So if I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup of steel cut oats, I'm going to use 1/2 cup at least, or to 3/4 a cup, depending on how creamy and thick you like it, of liquid, plus your yogurt. If you're using something like regular oats or rolled oats or quick oats, then you're just going to need to double it, your liquid, or maybe even do a little bit less. Also, you can put in some chia seeds, which gives it more of a pudding-like consistency. And then you simply add your favorite fruits or toppings. You could do peanut butter, you can do a variety of fruit, you can do nuts. So today I'm going to be making it with the steel cut oats and the almond milk, and I will put the ingredients and the measurements in the description below. Also, I forgot to mention that what you put your overnight oats in is optional as well. Most of the videos you'll see on YouTube have mason jars or some sort of small glass jar, and people make an individual serving and then grab them in the morning when they want breakfast. I like the overnight oats, but so does at least one of my other kids. And so what I tend to do is make a larger batch in a glass container. Today I'm going to be using like a large glass measuring cup like this, or this, depending on how much you're making. And I just put several batches of the overnight oats in there. And then in the morning, we just take out an individualized portion, and you can put it in a glass container and run with it, or in a bowl if you're going to be eating it at home. So again, rather than just making the individual portions, I'm going to make several batches in one container, and they just stay there in the refrigerator. And every morning you can take out what you want. So here's my favorite blueberry overnight oats. Okay, for my last breakfast recipe, I'm making breakfast burritos. And of course, this is very versatile as well. I'm using flour tortilla shells. I'm using eggs. I scrambled about 9 eggs. I'm gonna try to make 12 burritos. Use whatever meat you like. My father-in-law bought us some sausage balls. It's not something I would typically buy, but they looked great for breakfast burritos, so I sliced them, and I'm gonna put like 3 halves in each burrito. Cheese, and then I made a sauce, which I'm gonna show you here. So I took 2 avocados and mashed them up, and then I put about 1/4 cup of sour cream, some salt, you could do a little lime juice or cumin if you'd like, a little bit of pepper, and basically it's just a creamy sauce that I'm going to spread on my burrito shells, to see here. And then I'm going to add the sausage balls, the cheese, the scrambled eggs, and I may need a little more meat, so I may just use some deli ham if I run out of sausage balls. right, and here is the finished product. If I deduct the time I spent cleaning things and trying to get the right camera angles, it probably took me about an hour to do this, maybe a little bit longer. But I have 12 breakfast burritos. I have a pile of these baked oatmeal. I packaged them. Some of them have 2, some of them have 3 for if you're really hungry, and a couple of them have just 1. The way we like to eat these is we warm them up in the microwave and pour milk over them and eat them in a bowl. And then a giant container here of overnight cold oats, and these will be nice and thick and creamy by tomorrow. And you can top them with additional fruit or peanut butter if you'd like. That tastes really good. So all in all, I have 31 individual breakfasts here that will be in the refrigerator or the freezer for this coming week. Okay, I am done with my 31 breakfasts for the week. I'm pretty excited to see how it works for my family, if they love it. If they do, I'll probably try again next week with some new recipes. But for now, I hope it inspires you to maybe prepare for your week, to get creative with some breakfast recipes, to fill up your refrigerator and freezer. I think it will make life a little bit easier for all of us this week, and I'm excited about that. So thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and hit that like button, and I will see you next week.